On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, it's a boner. It's an adventure. It's a boner venture.
And be gone, Satan.
Happy Halloween.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk season 9, episode 17, Mother's Little Helper. But first, we're in spooky season, which is spooky all year by most people's feelings. But yeah, it'll be a happy Halloween on episode day.
Yeah, true. The day we drop will be Halloween.
Yeah.
It came so fast.
It did.
Yeah, one of my coaches this week was very excited that it's almost time that she can put up her tree. And I was just like, oh my God, will you, or oh my Satan, or whatever. But I haven't even got my Halloween yet. And you're trying to already push it aside for your happy, shiny tree. Like, no, let me please have my spooky season at least until the end of the week.
Yeah, and see, I love my Christmas decorations. I love all holidays.
But you also like your Halloween decorations.
I do. Yeah, like don't let me get through this. Like I'm not a purist about the Thanksgiving rule on your Christmas decorations at all. Like probably put mine up before Thanksgiving because honestly it's just easier sometimes. That weekend's usually busy. This year I might not. We'll see. But like before talking about it before Halloween is just nonsense.
It is. But she also said she didn't like Halloween, so clearly she's not.
Oh, well.
I don't understand her at all.
Yeah, I don't trust her anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
She's this person. She should be investigated.
Possibly a pod person. Maybe a lizard. I don't know.
Yeah,
she's really bendy. People shouldn't be able to hang like that. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's just weird. I don't know. I can't even process.
Like, I can't process not liking Halloween.
Well, a little bit, yeah. But like, also, like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I get people like being like, I don't know, ambivalent about it, but like actively disliking it. Or I also have a mental association with people that are like into unique arts like that, tending to be a little more open to holidays in general, especially spooky ones.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's a stereotype, and I guess I shouldn't.
They just weren't a trick-or-treating family, so. Yeah. But I mean, I would say like that may be cruel and unusual punishment as a child. I mean, like, what kind of sick parents don't take your children to get free candy?
Yeah, that's rude. Yeah, it was a huge ordeal in our neighborhood.
Mean to me.
Yeah, it was a huge thing in our neighborhood. We had like a whole little group of us. It was a posse. It was a thing.
Well, yeah, but then we moved when I was in 4th grade, and that's kind of the point too where you're kind of on the edge of whether or not you trick or treat or not. And at that point, my parents would have had to take me somewhere to go trick or treating, and they weren't going to do that. Well, you know my parents, yeah. So once it was no longer convenient, Halloween kind of stopped. But and maybe that's why I love it so much too, is I had it and then it was taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I enjoy it. And like, you think that they would lean into it as they got older because they're like, I didn't get to do this, but I don't know. Dave and I have been going through the Halloween candy. I keep buying it because my whole like strategy a couple of years ago was I'll buy like a bag a week leading up to Halloween so that I've got a whole bunch for Halloween to give out. But I've eaten a couple bags worth, I think, over this time. So strategy is failing me.
See, and my strategy has been to not buy the Halloween candy so I don't eat it.
That's a better one.
And that's been working.
Yeah.
I have not been eating the Halloween candy that I did not buy.
That's one strategy. That's a strategy. I shared with you, I'm sure, I think I sent to you the Atlas Obscura. What? Yeah, that's who it is, right? Atlas Obscura did an interesting article busting the myth of poison candy. And I thought it
We've
was
done
really
that on the
interesting.
show.
Well, I know, but they used a
I
term I'd
did.
never heard before. I didn't remember hearing before. And it's not specifically about that the candy, but I thought it was just really I know we've
I
talked
think
about
I
it, but it's
said it on this
Halloween.
show to you.
The term that they used?
I think so. I'm pretty sure I used that as an article as a research
I know
tool.
you did, but I was sharing that it came out again.
I was just like, okay. I'm like, that's so like, okay.
No, because it was timely this week. Either way, I just thought it was just a good timely one. I thought to mention again about the myth of poison candy. Anyway, so nobody wants to give their drugs to your child. That's the other part of it that we always.
No, nobody wants to give their drugs to your child. Maybe some people want to slip some razor blades in there.
The term was Halloween sadism. I thought that was an interesting term.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, but yeah, so I had my car show this weekend and it went well, and now we'll wait a year and do it again.
That's exciting.
That's about all I got going on. How about you?
I have nothing going on.
You need to go play with fire again.
Yeah, but tomorrow, yeah. It's just not as exciting as you would think it is.
Playing with fire always sounds exciting.
My life is so boring. All I do is hang upside down and play with fire. I don't know.
Are you a bat, Liz?
Bats don't play with a fire.
Well, that's true.
But I would like to see a bat that does.
Okay.
That would be adorable. Little
fire-eating bat.
Fire-eating bat.
Halloween next year.
Technically, I'm not being taught to fire eat. I'm only being taught to fire flow or whatever hippie shit that is.
Fire dance.
Well, it's fire flow is what they're calling it. But I really just feel like it's twirling around with fire.
I mean, isn't it?
It kind of is. Well, like last week we were learning to do jellyfishes, which are cool, but I'm not good at it. And it's basically you're making bubbles of fire, and then you can make the fire, like the bubble, then you can use that to put it out.
That's fun.
It is, but I can't practice this at home.
That's very true.
I can't get any better, and it takes me a long time to learn things.
You'll get there. Well, do we want to talk about this episode?
We can.
Let's talk about your girl.
Yeah, the thing is, it is like also I'm kind of bummed because I spent a whole week doing this was going to be a lore and a more lore this week, and then I threw it all out 3 hours ago after I wrote 2 scripts to do something else. Oof. So you guys will never hear about the nuns that went to the guillotine. I just didn't think it was spooky enough. It was a bunch of nuns who died, but they just martyred themselves, and it wasn't spooky. I mean, one of them came back as a ghost. So you got to hear about something else instead. Sorry. You'll never know. Maybe one day it'll be a bonus episode or something. So this episode, though, is titled Mother's Little Helper. And also I keep getting that fucking song stuck in my head. Every time I look at the title of this, and so if you didn't know, that is a Rolling Stones song from the 1966 album Aftermath. Mother's Little Helper is also a code word for Valium because moms used to take it to deal with their children when that was okay to do.
Oh, now they just drink a fuck ton of wine, right?
Sure, whatever mothers do. I don't know.
No, that's like a whole thing. Like there's a whole mom culture around it. Like mommy juice. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I think they got past that though, right? Wasn't that the pandemic thing?
I think that was a COVID thing. I don't know.
I think that was a COVID thing. I don't know what the moms are doing now. Probably just like snorting fentanyl or something.
Oh, they're getting fancy sodas and iced teas, I think.
Anyways, so this episode was season 9, episode 17. It first aired March 25th, 2014, and was directed by somebody named Misha Collins.
What?
Yeah, this is Misha Collins. aka Castiel, if you don't know. And he's not in this episode.
Right.
So it was his first episode that he ever directed of the show, which I also think is interesting that his first episode he was not in.
It is.
And it was written by Adam Glass. So in our recap, we start off, there's Henry, there's Abaddon, there's Crowley, there's ODT, old donkey teeth.
Old donkey teeth. Yeah. So we know this is going to be a very Men of Letters heavy episode. So
likely
we open in Milton, Illinois, and a dude is watching golf on TV, an ad for golf clubs and golf whatever on TV. And
clearly he is evil.
Yeah, I don't trust this guy. And this woman, his woman, which was assumed to be his wife, comes home with groceries and her own flowers. So apparently she's buying herself flowers. And she's making meatloaf for dinner again, and he's bitching about it. And she calmly says that she wishes that he wouldn't criticize her. And then she starts beating him in the fucking face with a candlestick holder.
They were also having potatoes and broccoli.
I mean, that sounds like a fine dinner to me. I
haven't in a while. I think I need to put meatloaf back in my
rotation. Yeah, like I have my meatloaf in a minute. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you should, mash them to death with a candlestick, no. But, Misha Collins said in the audition, I asked if this actress had ever bludgeoned anyone before. She said she didn't want to talk about it. But when I asked if she'd ever experimented with cannibalism, she was full of stories.
Oh, okay. Well, she basically beats the fuck out of this guy as she describes this dinner menu, and we get blood splatter, and he dead.
And we do also see these drawings, so we figure out like they look like teacher drawings,
yeah,
and not like they're her kid drawings.
Right. There's drawings by young children all over the place to give you the feeling that this is wildly out of character for this woman.
Yes.
Back at the bunker, Dean is researching and living on whiskey and not sleeping.
And slamming books. I don't know if he's just throwing books around.
Yeah. And Sam's like, well, I'm going to drive because we need to go check out this first grade teacher who killed her husband. And Sam thinks it's a possession. And Dean's like, yeah, just go without me. We just, and I just need to keep researching. He's just super obsessed with continuing to research to locate Abaddon. Also, what are they going to find? Like, are they trying to find in the book, like where Abaddon, like where her house is, like how to summon her? Like, what are they researching so intently here?
I don't know. I don't know what they think they're doing.
Okay. I was just making sure. I'm like, the premise here is confusing to me. I'm like,
I don't know.
Are her coordinates going to be there? Because she could move.
I think they're just looking for information about her. Or
I
maybe
know,
like a secret to like take out a Knight of Hell, but they have the thing to take her out.
Yeah,
so
they just have to find her.
I don't know.
Well, Dean's just basically been totally obsessed with killing Abaddon or researching it since he killed Magnus. And Dean's just like, yeah, it's like my job. Duh. I've got to kill her so that I can kill Crowley. And Sam's like, it's fine. It's cool. I'm just checking in, but I'm going to go check on this murder now. Yeah. So Sam goes on the road.
So he takes baby.
Yeah.
And he takes baby up to Milton Sheriff's office. And there we learn that the husband was not abusive and he did not smell sulfur and her eyes looked like eyes.
And they go to visit her, Karen, in her cell, and she did. She hung herself and used her own like fingertip blood to write all over the walls. I'm gonna tell you, this is the shit that like, oh, I just got goosebumps again. It's so...
See, you get goosebumps and I just get angry at this prison system or this jailer. I'm like, what the fuck were you doing leaving your inmate when they're so long without any sort of attention? This shit took time. This was not like I accidentally like didn't check on you for like a minute shit. And like this, she wrote all over the walls.
With her blood from her own fingertips that she scraped off, it looks like.
No,
that's what gave me the heebie-jeebies.
You're a bad institution.
Well, either way, the sheriff's freaked out about it. Not that that's okay, but he is.
He should be.
So Sam calls Dean, and Dean looks like total shit. Like Dean is not taking care of himself. And but he's trying to play cool and ask about Mrs. Manson and demons, blah blah. And Sam's like, there's no signs of demons or ghosts, but if nothing kicks up here, it's just not a case. So I'm just gonna see what happens in the next 24 hours or so. And Dean's like, cool, good luck, bye, and hangs up as he finishes his bottle of whiskey.
And he just keeps having flashbacks about ODT. This is time with it and how much he misses it.
Yeah, he's having definitely weird flashbacks about this blade. ODT.
And he does pick up his phone and he calls somebody, but he hangs up after one ring.
Yeah,
I've done that.
Caller ID's a motherfucker, though.
It is. It'll get you every time.
And
or the worst is like when I don't mean to call somebody, I'm not really like, and I'm just like accidentally hit a button, and then you're like, shit, and then they call you back, and they're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, well, I didn't know, I just hit the button.
Well, and then they're like, do you mean that, or are you just saying that?
And they're like, shit, no, I really didn't want to talk to you, but now that you're here. Anyway, so we cut to a guy who is hitchhiking. It's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, and we figure out this kid's it's actually kind of a young kid. And he's talking to his chick on the phone, and you can tell he's definitely young. He's like, I'm going to fight with my mom. I'm trying to get you, babe. But
he's not that young. He's a teenage age.
Teenage, yeah. Well, teenager. Probably got in a fight with his mom, and she wouldn't let him drive the car.
Yeah.
So... But a van pulls up, and as he tries to stick his thumb out to hitch a ride, whatever. And it's the kid, the guy that was walking knows Mr. Ritchie. And he's like, oh, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, he gets a ride. So in the van says Saint Bonaventure. Isn't that how you say it?
Bonaventure.
Bonaventure.
I go with Bonaventure.
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 I don't know. Anyways.
Boner adventure.
This guy, all I know is that this kid goes in the back of the van with this dude, and he is very confused about what this guy's doing, and there's a flash of light.
Yeah, there's a struggle and a white light. But we actually don't know if he goes in the back with the dude. We just hear the struggle. Someone else could be pulling him back there.
That's true. That's very true. So we go to the diner.
And maybe someone had a boner adventure. So now we go to a diner, and Sam is in there, and I'm so jealous because Texas hates diners. Or at least like where I live hates diners, and there's no diner around me, and I've been craving one. All we have, like the closest thing I have is like a Denny's and an IHOP. And that's not a diner.
I shouldn't say that I have two.
Then. I know. Dallas has good diners.
A couple good ones, yeah. But Sam gets a salad at the diner, which...
That's a Sam thing.
I know, but man, at a diner... Oh, anyways.
You never know. It could be like a Cobb salad, like a diner Cobb salad.
That's true. That's true.
Or sometimes like they have that trio of the deli salads. Like, so it'll be like a tuna and a chicken, and then like a third, like maybe like an egg salad.
An egg salad, yeah. Or a macaroni salad. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay, I'm in. All right, good. Fair enough. You've turned me on the diner salad. Our hitchhiker, we find his name is Bill or Billy. He comes in and he sits down at the bar and then looks at like the counter, not the bar, but and sees a plate abandoned next to him, and it takes a handful of the rice and starts shoving it in his face.
Oh, I thought it was mashed potatoes.
I thought it was rice.
Okay, well, whatever.
Ugh. It's still a food that's hard to eat with your hands.
On someone else's plate.
Oh, yes. And the waitress scolds him, and so he fucking yells at her. And so Sam tells him to take it easy. And the waitress knows this kid's mom. She's like, what's going on? And so he does the most cat move ever, though. Is all I could think of. I'm like, he's like a cat. He just like turns and like uses his hand to like knock a glass off the counter with his hand, and it just shatters on the floor while maintaining eye contact with this waitress. I was like,
that is, yeah, I can see that.
It was a cat move. Anyway, and she's like, "What's eating you?" And he's like, "You, my mom, him." I'm like, "Oh, angsty teen. Okay, here we go." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call your mom." And then Billy puts a steak knife through her hand.
Yeah, and then Sam knocks him out.
Yeah, steak knife through her hand. He gets an elbow to the face, and there we go. Crazy. So at the jail now, and Billy's still pissed. We got Billy's pissed. This zoned out lady, this woman or this man, like using his bloody fingers to write on the walls more, and some dude with his forehead all bloody banging his face on the bars. So we got like 4 people that are like not doing so great in the jail now. And yeah, and like the sheriff's trying to like tell Sam, like Sam's like, what do they have in common? He's like, nothing. They're all like straight as arrows. I know that a van picked up Billy, but that's about it. And so while the sheriff has to step away to take a call, Sam's like, hey Billy, I'm gonna throw this holy water on you. Oh, and he doesn't really react at all. He's annoyed, but that's it.
He says he's clear and like he's a Scientologist.
Clear. Yeah, he did the test. He had to pay a lot of money for that. But and then he's clear of everything. And Sam wants to know why. And Billy's like, you think there's a why? So anyways, in the meantime, the sheriff has gotten Sam surveillance from the grocery store where Karen was before she murdered her dude. So Sam calls Dean and asks if he's working. And Dean says, sure, I'm totally researching, but he's definitely at the bar. And also that background noise would be very evident.
I think, yeah. But also would just not be surprising.
No. So Sam's like, well, now we've got a handful of folks acting aggressive and violent and impulsive. And Dean's like, oh, it sounds like a Gold's Gym. And Sam's like, oh, less steroid, more basic instinct. But then Sam has a memory. He has this flashback of being soulless Sam.
And he was so hot. He was so much more attractive, but he didn't have a soul.
And Dean's like, well, you weren't out of control, though. And he's like, yeah, but everybody's different. And I could really use your help here, Dean. Dean's like, no.
He's working too hard to help him.
He's getting too close. He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna solve it. But Dean's not alone at the bar. He's got company.
Because Crowley is there.
Yeah. So there we go. Sam is watching the surveillance footage and sees Karen getting out of this van at the grocery store. So I don't know why she got in the van, but this woman was at the grocery store that she normally goes to in her small town, and somehow they got her in and out of a van. And
maybe they said there was like a kitten in there.
Or goats.
Yeah.
Or candy.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I get in the van.
So while he's watching this, he overhears a woman at the desk telling the young deputy about demons and that it's happening again. And he is being very patronizing and dismissive of her.
And she tells him, don't patronize me, you little turd. Yes. And becomes my hero for saying that to a sheriff's deputy.
Well, Sam pulls her aside and gets her a cup of tea and wants to hear what she has to say about fucking demons. And she calls out that he does not even blink an eye when she says this. And he says that he's more open-minded than most. And she wants to know if he's one of the men of letters. What? How does she know about the men of letters? She remembers them coming there in 1958. Okay, then.
And now we're going to have a flashback to 1958, and this flashback is fine. I'm okay with this kind of flashback. This is all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we've got a flashback to a nun, a.k.a. Sister Julia, who is the young version of this woman, polishing some silver, and she gets a knock at her door. And it's Henry in a priest outfit and Josie dressed as a nun.
Sexy.
And he says they're from the Office of the Inquisition. And they have a wax sealed note that they have to take to Mother Superior.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say to somebody at a nunnery.
It's very weird to say. and then the Inquisition song starts going in my head.
You just don't expect it. So then we cut to Crowley, and who Dean called and hung up on earlier.
Yup. And yeah. And Crowley calls him out too. Like, you're at the fucking bar when you should be finding and killing Abaddon. She's probably not here. Hello. And Dean calls out that Dean is stalling. Wants to know how Dean felt holding ODT and killing Magnus. Because he thinks he felt powerful and afraid.
Yeah, so he chats him up about that.
Yeah.
And then we cut to... do you think I'll say about that? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So then we cut back to my hero and Sam.
Yeah. Julia is going to tell Sam all about Henry and Josie. Because he knew them, but it's complicated. And so... yeah, she's like, I'm an ex-nun. Complicated is my middle name. So,
I love her.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. They basically, Henry and Josie were investigating Sister Mary Catherine, who killed 2 people and then jumped from the bell tower. So she takes them to see Mother Superior, and Mother Superior and Sister Agnes read this letter and assign Julia to be their guide. And Josie gets real pissed because Julia is deferring to Henry for all instructions because, yes, the Catholic Church has a lot of patriarchal components, but either way. But what's really happening is we've got a little bit of a conversation between Josie and Henry about their lives outside of the Men of Letters, because Henry's not thrilled about being out in the field. He thinks it's risky, even though this is their last assignment between becoming full members, and wonders if he's being selfish because if something happens to him, then what happens to his son and his wife? And basically says, but you don't have that problem, Josie, because you don't have a family outside of here, which is not very nice. And she is sad about it. So at Mary Catherine's quarters, we get to this room where there's bloodstains all over the wall, where apparently she wrote all over the wall and they couldn't clean it off. I have questions about the inability to clean blood suddenly, but I don't know. I feel like that should be... I mean, are these nuns that busy? They couldn't, get the blood off the wall?
They said it wouldn't come off the wall.
I guess. Paint over it? I don't know. Either way.
It was wallpaper.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, apparently there is a pre-Enochian crest carved into this wall.
The fuck do you know what pre-Enochian is?
I know. It's like
pre-Enochian isn't even a thing.
Pre-Enochian crest. That means Knights of Hell.
And that means trouble. It starts with T and it rhymes with P and that...
So apparently Julia wasn't allowed to leave her room after 10 p.m., but she saw someone walk by her room in the hall that night, and she snuck out and sees this.
No, she was reading her Bible in the cutest bonnet ever. It was just a cute little nun bonnet. I will wear that as I go to sleep. Yep.
Yeah. But it was good for her hair too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's not getting, there's not any breakage.
I know. Bonnets are making a big multicultural comeback right now. I'm kind of intrigued. Anyway, so Julia follows this nun, sees a possessed nun dragging someone up the stairs, but then she gets hit in the fucking face and wakes up tied to a chair.
Yeah, Sister Agnes has knocked her out. Yeah. And then she sees Sister Agnes coming and dragging a girl out. It's just crazy.
And there's 5 people in this room tied up to chairs. And apparently, they're taking them one at a time into this other side room that is not very, like, the wood slats on this door are not very well made. There's a lot of light gap between them, but because of that, you can see a bright light flash from this room. So Julia starts praying, and God didn't answer, but Henry and Josie did, is what she says, because they bust in and they start throwing holy water and yelling exorcism. Oh, and there's cock smoking out, and like it's a whole thing. It's a scene.
Yep. But he tries it on the Mother Superior, who just flings him and then makes a crack about hunters being nosy.
Yeah. And Josie's like, no, we're not hunters. We're men of letters. And she's very impressed that there's a woman man of letters now.
So am I. Like, Josie's like the only one. And you know they're treating her like shit. They're already making her get coffee. Like, she's having a bitch of a time. She's having to, like, dress up like a nun and having these stupid little novice nuns who haven't even taken their fucking perpetual vows yet coming up and, like, not listening to her and deferring to fucking Henry. Like, what the hell? I spent a lot of times reading about nuns this week. Sorry.
Oh, well, the Mother Superior's like, well, that's fine, whatever. I want to trade up to Henry's body from this old bag of bones. And Josie's like, no, don't touch him. Take me instead.
Why are there no anti-possession charms in either of these two?
I don't know.
Why is that not the first thing men of letters do?
I don't know. Because they don't go to the field?
They know about it. They're fucking men of letters.
Yeah, it's real weird. It's weird. And yeah. But Josie's like, no, I'll be more useful and leave him be. And Mother Superior calls out that Josie's in love with Henry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh, indeed. She just wants to spare him. And the nun's like, look, Abaddon takes what she wants, so you don't even have to offer yourself up, but whatever. I want everything. So she cock smokes out into Josie.
She also tells Josie that Henry loves her, but loves her like a sister, and it's a big burn. And when she cock smokes into Josie, her smoke is black. And wasn't it some point? Why isn't it red? I don't know. Like, I feel like her. Whatever.
I don't know.
But
it was back in when they were doing the trials. I thought it was.
Yeah, so I know Crowley sometimes is red, sometimes he's not, but I don't know. Get your colors consistent. So anyway, she tells the other nun to keep it going until she returns and to play dead. Mm-hmm. So this is where we were going to talk about dead nuns, but we're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about something else that's more spooky because I wanted to, and because I just wanted it to be spookier because it's Halloween. Spooky lore episode. Yep. So we're going to talk about Anna Ecklund, and this is it's called the Ealring possession sometimes, but it is the story of Anna Ecklund, aka Emma Schmidt, who was possessed and exorcised in a convent. So, convent. Yeah. There were nuns there. It works. All right. So Anna Ecklund was a pseudonym for a woman born in Marathon, Wisconsin in 1882. Her claims of possession first surfaced when she was 14, and she was repulsed by holy objects and was having thoughts about unspeakable sex acts. The spirits tormented her every night from 12 to 3 by arousing her passions and tempting her to commit sin. For years, she saw these horrid figures, male and females, doing the most revolting acts of impurity before her eyes, arousing her passions and inciting her to sin. So, if you're horny, you may be possessed. Okay. Theoretically, her real name may have been Emma Schmidt. That is debatable. I don't want to go into it. The pseudonym comes from Karl Vogel, who was a priest and a theologian. He wrote an account of the possession in the German pamphlet titled Be Gone, Satan in 1935. And we'll get back to him in a little bit. So Father Theophilus Riesinger was born in Bavaria in 1868. And at the age of 20, he joined the Capuchins. That's not the monkeys. That's the branch of the Franciscan order. He immigrated to the U.S. and first was practicing as a priest in New York City before moving to the Midwest in 1912. The very same year, he would perform his first exorcism on Anna Ecklund. And apparently his interest in exorcisms may have been why he was sent to Appleton, Wisconsin, because the church in New York had enough of his exorcism nonsense. Little was documented about this first exorcism, but it was supposedly successful for a little while. But then her father cursed her, or so it is said later, by demons. By 1928, Anna had been possessed for well over a dozen years. She could not pray, take communion, or even pronounce the name of Christ. Doctors couldn't find anything physically or mentally wrong with her. And I don't know if those are the only symptoms. I think she's still getting the horny things and some other stuff is going on. But, like, I mean, those are only, like, the 3 things. Like, I mean, you can't pray, you can't take communion, you can't say Jesus. I mean, is that really going to interfere with your life too much? And you can go on, right? Just don't do those things. Anyways, so Father Theophilus
feels like there's workarounds.
I feel like there's workarounds, right? So the priest was approved by the bishops of Des Moines to exorcise her again. So that priest, Father Theophilus, was friends with the Monsignor of St. Joseph's Parish, Joseph Steiger, and he agreed to host the exorcism at the convent of the Franciscan Sisters. Hopefully he worked there and wasn't just like, we can use their convent, they'll be fine with it. So Anna was brought there on August 18th. Someone sprinkled holy water on her food, and she started hissing like a cat and wouldn't eat it. She also wouldn't eat blessed food. So clearly this is all starting off well. The next morning, the first of 23 days of exorcising begins. As soon as the words of exorcism left the priest's mouth, Anna went unconscious, levitated, and clung to the wall above the door. It's also said like a cat. So she's up there like by her fingers. It's like, ah! And though she was unconscious, voices and howls could be heard coming out from her. Her health deteriorated during this 23 days of exercising. Well, duh, right?
She's not eating. She's running around and hissing all the time. That sounds awful.
And like levitating has got to be calorie burning. I don't know. Like, I'm assuming that's got to take a lot out of you, right?
That sounds tiring.
And since she's only drinking like small sips of water and milk, but she's still like vomiting up a bunch of shit, and is supposedly foul-smelling debris, often resembling tobacco leaves. And look, as somebody who like, I've thrown up a lot, and I'm just saying that. And I'm just like, did she eat cigarettes? Or like smoke a lot? Because I'm kind of thinking that's what she did. I think she was secretly eating cigarettes, and then that was making her puke, because it would. It would definitely make you puke.
She was dipping.
Oh, or like in swallowing it. They also said her face swelled up and her eyes bulged, and she could speak in a lot of different languages, and she delighted in telling the childhood sins of the exorcism participants, which I think is a fun game, just because there's like all these nuns and priests around you. She's like, this is what you did as a kid. And that sounds like I would be like, do me next, tell me what I did. Then she also started saying some prophecies to Father Theophilus, who's taking this stuff kind of to his head. So remember, he really liked exercising things. Yeah. So according to a 1936 Time magazine article, this was in Time magazine. Isn't that crazy?
I was like, wait, what?
Yep. So when the priest approached with a relic of the true cross concealed under his cassock, there were howls. I cannot bear that. Oh, it is tormenting. It is unbearable. She's 40, but whatever. The possessed recoiled at the mention of St. Michael the Archangel, protested at a relic of the little flower, cried, that burns, that scorches, when holy water was sprinkled. A prayer to Mary the Immaculate Conception caused a bloating of the woman's body, which is just a mean trick. You just feel like, so we're like, pray to Mary, and then just like, you're bloated. That's fucked up, man. Right. She mainly seemed to be possessed by Beelzebub, Judas Iscariot, and the spirits of her father and his supposed mistress, her Aunt Nina, when it was the dad, it was often stuff about how he wanted to commit incest with his daughter, and since he couldn't do it on Earth, he was going to get her to kill herself and do it in hell, and that Beelzebub was okay with this plan. And there's a whole bunch of things that get said about this dad and incest and her, and so there are theories that is something that may have happened to her as a girl, and this was like her acting it out, or that she was just really fucked up. So, all right, on December 23rd, 1928, at about 9 p.m., Anna sat straight up in bed, and she looked like she was about to levitate. And I think that, like, at this point, they knew, like, that was about to pop off, and they were just like, no, get her. And so the nuns, like, strapped her down, and Father Theophilus, he roars, "Depart, ye fiends of hell." I don't know why he all of a sudden, he was German, not Irish, but be gone, Satan. I'm laughing because I've got a typo and it's a Santa, but be gone, Satan. The Lion of Judah reigns. Anna fell on the bed as a terrible shout of Beelzebub, Judas, Jacob, Mina, followed by hell, 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 repeating until it faded off. Anna cried out, "My Jesus, mercy, praise be Jesus Christ." And then they had to open up all the windows because the room stank. And they're like, said it just smelled like sulfur. Like when the devil departed, he just like let out a big fart and was just like, wah! And he was like, oh God, it's so bad. Open a window.
Oh no.
But also, I'm thinking 28 days of like a vomiting woman also is going to be pretty rank. Like, there's no way that's going to smell good.
No.
So most of that account is according to the Begone Satan pamphlet, was circulated over 10,000 copies the first year it was published. And Monsignor Steiger, that friend of the priest who did it, who let them use the convent, he went to Germany and he told Vogel. So pretty much all the priests that are involved in this were German, right? Okay. And they think that there's a possibility that that's also how Anna, Emma Schmidt, met them, right? Like that it was all kind of like this German like world that kept together. And there's a second account by his associate Frederick J. Bunse, and in that one it said that the exorcism was not successful and Anna was almost immediately possessed again.
Like repossessed?
Or like yeah, so that's what was going on with her. Like, so she was 14, she'd get exercised and then be free, and then like
come back.
possessed again. Just like, like, I don't want to say it. Say it. It's possession herpes. But I didn't want to say it, but I had to. But I couldn't think of another metaphor. But like it just keeps coming back, and there wasn't like a Valtrex for it. So it's but. So the priest.
I was trying to hold it back.
I know. So. Yeah, but I also just think it's fascinating how well known this exorcism became.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's the story of Anna and her
wild.
And her possession.
And her possession. Begone, Satan.
Begone, Satan. Huh. I'm sure in German it sounded much more harsh.
Oh, I bet.
I had to find the German version.
Damn.
It's probably like 9,000 letters.
Right. And a lot of consonants. Oh, well.
So back to nuns and their possession.
Now we know how and when Josie got possessed by Abaddon. That's what's, I think, a critical component of this story. So where we're at in the episode. So she's gonna make eyeballs at Julia and then wake up Henry and be like, oh, look at us, we won, we stopped the demons, ta-da. So
Henry's so stupid. I'm sorry, he's just so naive and dumb through all this. So she pretends they're successful and that whatever she was doing was at, so I'm just excited because I have it written in my notes now. So the convent of Saint Bonaventure, that's how you say it.
Bonaventure, yeah. And so in modern times, Sam's like, Julia, what was Abaddon like doing? And what was the name of this convent? Like, what's happening here? And so that's when she shares that information. But apparently it's on the outskirts of town and it's been closed for many years. Well, Dean and Crowley are still at the bar. Because of course they are. And Crowley is still just like talking to Dean, calling him out for being scared, but he should look at the mark of Cain as a gift. And Dean's like, I'm a hunter, not a killer like Cain. And Crowley's like, you met the guy, right? Y'all, you saw how much alike you guys are, right? Okay, cool. But Crowley is going to take a break and go water the lily.
And my first thought is like, what? He pees?
Yeah. Wait, since when does Crowley have to go pee?
Since when do demons pee?
Yeah.
But then Dean's just having flashbacks of ODT.
And You're No Good by Linda Ronstadt plays on the jukebox. And there's a guy sitting at the bar, a couple bar stools down, that Dean notices. And he's got a rosary wrapped around his hand, and he's got a knife in his belt, and he is following Crowley to the bathroom. So Dean goes and stops him, introduces himself because, the Winchesters are fucking famous. And everybody knows who Dean Winchester is. And says he knows a hunter when he sees him, and that you don't stand a chance if you've never killed a demon. And if you try to go after this guy and you fail, which you will, he'll go after everybody in your family and then everybody you know and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So he gives this dude this condescending speech. Mm-hmm. And that makes himself out to be a hero and whatever. And the kid's like, okay, I won't do it.
But also, wouldn't every other hunter we've ever met been like, the fuck, why are you defending a demon then? And this guy doesn't really ask many questions. So Dean tells Crowley, hey, we got to go. And goes outside. In the meantime, Sam has made it to this convent.
Hey, abandoned convent. Yes, please.
Yeah. I was going to say, it sounds like somewhere Liz would go visit. Abandoned convent. And the van's outside. But Crowley comes outside the bar and meets up with Dean. And Dean's like, by the way, I know that demons don't pee. Let's see if you're right.
Yeah, everyone saw that. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. And he assumes that Crowley was shooting up. And Crowley's like, yeah, I'm going to embrace my addiction. And I've got, just like Dean's his own addict and got his own junkie for his ODT.
He's just like, you just want to touch that precious again.
Mm-hmm. Dean's like, no, I'm just all in on my one chance to kill Abaddon. I'm going to find her, and then you're going to bring me the blade, and that's it. And he leaves. And then our fake hunter, Jake, walks up to Crowley and was like, oh, he was a plant all along. He did exactly what Crowley said what Dean would do, and that is saved Crowley from this rando hunter.
Because they're besties.
For now. But Sam has now entered this convent. I will say I appreciate having something other than a warehouse. So yeah. I'm not.
It's dusty and full of crap, and I want to investigate the shit out of this place.
And he finds this room that has rows of jars with glowing lights in them. And then he gets attacked. And then he's able to use the demon blade just in time on Mr. Ritchie. But there's someone else that attacks him too. It's a nun. This is Agnes, Sister Agnes.
Hey, Sister Agnes, you look good.
Yeah, she's still kicking it. And she's got the blade, and she's like, "Yeah, these souls are precious and they're fragile. If you break a jar, they're just gonna go home. So you can't fuck with the jars." Let's get some good intel.
Just letting you know, don't do that.
Thank you for the intel.
In case you're wondering.
Right. So Agnes has been continuing doing this despite, while Abaddon's been gone. But she's like, yeah, it's even dirtier now because people don't just walk into a church looking, for a religion anymore. I've got to go find people instead. And so she has to ride shotgun with a smelly handyman. That's how she describes it. But it's worth it because
she can't smell that great. She's been dead for she's in a rotting. How does a meat corpse not rot? I guess it's not a rotting meat corpse. I guess it's just a living meat corpse.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It doesn't decompose, so
yeah. But
I don't know. I still don't think Sister Agnes smells good. I'm just saying.
I would doubt it. Do demons care about the personal hygiene of their meat suit?
I doubt it.
No.
I mean, she's living in an abandoned convent.
Yeah, I mean, like, is there water?
How is she washing her habit?
Well, she's saying that their stealing souls is winning, and that Hell's Crown is not going to wait for these demons to pick a side. And if Abaddon can't just win that way, she's going to force them. So she is turning souls into demons and making a demon army that is loyal to her.
But they're not demons. She's making soulless people.
Or it's very confusing.
That's what, I don't understand. She's
or
not
are they
making
using the
demons.
souls? But are they using the souls for something?
No, I mean, unless the souls go to hell, like she takes a soul to hell and then makes it into a demon.
No, that's what
I don't know. Happening. This is not how you make demons.
I was unclear.
It's wrong. All of it's wrong. What's I say?
Sam mocks them and is like, that's going to take you a couple million years, so whatever. But Agnes is like, what? You think I'm the only one? We've got factories spread out all over, and victory is nigh. And they want Sam to be on their team, and their only recruitment is to rip his soul out of his body. So Sam's going to start exorcising her. But she chokes him so he can't talk. But Sam has the voice memo of the exorcism on his phone that he starts playing.
Which is about damn time. Yes. Kudos. That was smart. Please do that.
Yes, I was impressed. But it gets thrown out of reach. He throws it out of reach, and then she crawls through it, towards it, and smashes it.
In a really fun way.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of weird possession things like coming
Her face is flickering. Yeah. I don't like it.
I didn't think you would.
It was scary. It was scary.
But I also had that kind of, I was watching that fast. So it was like,
I had to look extra creepy then. That looks super creepy then.
That's fine.
But right when she smashes the phone, Sam's able to stab her with the demon blade and starts releasing the souls. And they fly out the window and go into the jail cell. And Billy gets his first. And then he's watching
and he just eats it. I don't know if I would just be like, come into me, giant soul light. I mean, would you feel connected to it?
I think you would just know, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I saw a giant light coming through the window,
coming towards your face,
my mouth.
You wouldn't just go,
and like, no, I don't just open up and stop. No, I'm gonna stop this now. Okay,
you didn't want to suck that ball of light down.
No, we're moving on. Okay,
all right.
So the other souls are come flying into the cells.
Yes, and back at the in the parking lot of the sheriff's office, Sam goes up to Julia, or I guess wherever they are. I kind of miss where they are. She's in a parking lot, and she's real cute.
Yeah, they're outside the sheriff's office.
And he wants to ask her a question. She's real cute and acts like he's going to ask her on a date. But really, because she's awesome. But really, he wants to know from her, why didn't she warn Henry about Abaddon? And she says that she became a nun to help people, but she was not prepared or trained in her to act in the face of real evil and did not know what to do. So we get a flashback to when Josie is already possessed by Abaddon and Henry leave the convent. And she basically tells all of the nuns that they need to keep whatever happened there a secret, but really does like eyes on you to Julia.
Mm-hmm.
So Julia, because of this, was so ashamed and upset, she left the convent because she felt like she betrayed the flock, God, and herself. And that is her greatest shame of her life. That's sad.
That's sad.
Poor Julia. And Sam's like, well, now you've saved lives, and so she leaves, or Sam leaves, and she's just watches him leave, looking very serious. Henry and Josie are driving away in a 1956 Chrysler Imperial that is fucking beautiful.
I thought you would like that, yeah.
It's a good car. And she's asking Henry if he's okay. And he's like, you know what? I'm better. We saved lives. We made a difference. We've found a noble calling. There's risks, but it's foolish for even doubting this. And this is the right path. How about you? And she's like, I feel like a whole new person. Ugh.
I don't like it. I also don't like how high Henry is on this win. Like, because what the fuck do you think you did, Henry? Like, you said a few words and you got knocked out. Like, it kind of looks like Josie did everything.
I mean, he doesn't
Sounds
know
like
that,
a Winchester.
though. But she let him think that. That was a Josie call, not an Abaddon call.
Well, he still, like, was passed out when, like, most of the things were, like, happening. Like, ta-da! I woke up and
she's like, we did it!
Okay.
Yeah. Well, back in the bunker, Sam's grabbing a beer and Dean is researching still. And Sam's just like, you're right. We got to find Abaddon ASAP. They're mining souls to create an army. Let's fucking go.
And that's how it ends.
That's it.
And they're both like, but apparently both of them like are researching drunk now. Sam's like, I got to get a beer. Dean's like, I got to hide my whiskey. Like, I get it. It was no fun to research sober, but...
Well, I mean, at least Sam's grabbing a beer and not like drinking a whole bottle of whiskey.
A bottle of whiskey
from the
for
bottle
himself.
Right?
Man, his stomach. Oh, yeah, his shit's never mind.
Oh, his stomach's so not good.
It's so not good.
So not good.
Oh, I don't want to think about Dean Winchester's stomach. Okay, so tell me about like some actors instead of
sure. Yeah.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Julia Wilkinson was played by Jenny O'Hara. She's got quite a prolific career. She's been in episodes of Charlie's Angels, Starsky and Hutch, Facts of Life a handful of times, Chips a couple times, St. Elsewhere, Murphy Brown, Beverly Hills 90210 a couple times, As the World Turns a few times, Law and Order, Drew Carey Show, ER, Party of Five, NYPD Blue, Reba, Nip Tuck, 6 Feet Under, CSI, Ghost Whisperer, Grey's Anatomy, House, The Closer, NCIS, Big Love, Rizzoli and Isles, Mike and Molly, The Mindy Project, 911, The Good Doctor, and Never Have I Ever. Also was Wendy in the movie Wishmaster and Esther in Mystic River. Sister Agnes was played by Patricia Harris. She's been in episodes of 4400. And then she was a zombie in Linnea Quigley's horror workout, because apparently Linnea Quigley had a horror workout video. Anyways, and then she was had a small wife as a NASA wife in Mission to Mars, and was the receptionist for the Fab Four in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Mother Superior was played by Marilyn Norrie. She's been in episodes of X-Files, Tin Man, Battlestar Galactica, half dozen times, Smallville, Fringe, iZombie, Travelers, Altered Carbon a few times, Siren a handful of times, Big Sky, Nancy Drew, and Resident Alien. She was also she had a part in Neverending Story 3. She was another NASA wife in Mission to Mars. Kind of interesting. She was Maria Rose in The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Jonah's mom in Jennifer's Body. She had a small role in that movie Horns, and another small role in the movie BFG. Our sheriff was played by Kurt Max Runt, and he's been in episodes of X-Files, Smallville, Fringe, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina as Mr. Kemper, and iZombie a couple times. He was a German delegate in Josie and the Pussycats, the chief of staff in X-Men 2, Nicholas in Elektra. He was in Aliens vs. Predator Requiem, had a small role in The Day the Earth Stood Still, and in Underworld Awakening. And then Billy was played by Kurt Ostland, and he was an episode of 100, but also most recently a reoccurring character called Strong Boy in the Snowpiercer series.
I have no idea what the Snowpiercer series is.
Oh, it's a sci-fi thing.
Okay.
I don't think it's on Sci-Fi Network, to be clear, but it's a science fiction series.
Okay.
Like they're all like on a train or something.
Cool.
But yeah, there we go. Some interesting ones. They're a big cast, but
yeah,
those are critical ones. So, well.
So what'd you think?
Other than I was irritated with some of the for lack of a better word, the canon flubs, I would say, that seem like canon inconsistencies.
Okay.
How about that? Other than that, I thought it was a scary episode, but it was a fun one. But I also thought it was really important to give us that backstory of how the fuck Josie ended up with Abaddon in her.
Yeah, I mean, it
feels relevant.
Kind of. I mean, I don't think it really matters in the long run. I mean, she was a woman in the 50s, and, you know, that's just how she got her meat suit.
Oh, I just didn't know if it would be more important later. I was like, ooh, I bet this is critical. So now I'm like, never mind. No, but
I'm sure there's some sort of relevance to it in the future.
But I also know how much you love an Abaddon episode, and so I thought you would enjoy that. She
looks really good as a nun.
She does. She's just she's such a beautiful woman.
This is nice to like have a habit just around your face and like not have to worry about your hair. That would be so convenient. Just to be like, that's the only thing you see. And she had full face on too. Like most nuns are not wearing full face. Full face,
no. She's also just a very, very pretty woman. But yeah, no, I thought it was a fun, not fun, it's not the right word. I got a little like, I find the Dean situation distressing, which I think is probably not shocking. And I'm sure it's supposed to be slightly distressing. Julia was a bad bitch, so that was helpful.
Yeah, no, I appreciated Julia and Sam. I thought, I would watch the Julia and Sam show.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, they should go off and investigate together.
I agree.
That's our new show. That's our new spinoff that you guys should have gone with. I don't know why you tried all these other ones, but hello.
Should have been Julia and
Sam and Julia going out and investigating crimes. It's a new thing.
And her just being snarky. It's a great mess.
But Sam like secretly falls in love with her. But she's like, no, Sam. I'm not dating you. 65 guys under 65 are dumb. And she's just calling everybody little turds. The only woman I think it's okay to use that language.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right. Cheers, Jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.